Hello everyone, my name is Chandria. Welcome back to Chandria Carroll Stitches, where I talk about my crafty life, mostly cross stitch. There is going to be a tad bit of knitting today, but mostly cross stitch. You can also find me on Instagram at Chandria Carroll, and welcome back. So I actually have some pretty decent stitchy progress this time. I've got some really pretty fabrics to show you, and then I have a few plans. I think it's going to be a slightly shorter video. Famous last words, right? But I think that it may be. So let's go ahead and get into it then. I'm going to go in order of generally least progress to most progress. So first we have, and I don't think I've ever shown this on my channel before actually, so this will be new for everyone. This is Royals by Ink Circles. No surprise here, it has rats. I have rats. We're gonna stitch it. So I don't know if I have a photo of where it was last time. If I do, I will pop it up. If I don't, sorry, it wasn't much. But here is where we are now. So this is stitched on 32 count Phoenix Lugana by BeStitchMe. I did just 172 stitches, and let's see. So I previously had 104 stitches, so I did 172, putting me at 4.3% complete. Not a lot, but I pulled this out for a stitching challenge to meet a prompt, and the best thing about doing something like that is that you get progress on something you probably wouldn't have otherwise touched. So there we go. And I will talk more about what those challenges and prompts were, but for now, and this is in a bag I made myself, just constellations. So next, so for this one I will pop up a photo of what it's going to look like, but this is the Addams family stitch along. I don't remember who that's by. Let's see here. Hold please. We're off to a great start. Okay, Just Stitch Designs. So this is the Addams Family Sal by Just Stitch Designs on Etsy. This is a ginormous project with almost 51,000 stitches. Let's see how many I put in. I put in 179 stitches. So again, I'm not sure if I had a photo of where I was. I have been really bad about taking before photos lately, but if I do, I will have popped that in. And that is upside down. Don't mind me. So I had previously been working on this, and this was perfect for stitching challenges because it's so easy. And then I started working on this. So I'm trying to get the outline of some of the rooms done. Well, actually, I'd like to do the whole outline first. We'll see how long I can stick to that plan. Before then I get into the good stuff, which is all the rooms. This is a Thing needleminder by Wild Violet Cross Stitch, and then this is 28 count Fall Linen by BeStitchMe. So yeah, again, not a lot of progress on those, but it got me to touch it. The next one I have slightly more progress on. I have a little over 500 stitches. This is Dear Santa. It's a kit by Satsuma Street. If I have a before photo, I'll pop it up. But here is where we are. So I believe the hat is, I think there's one more shade of red, but I completed that shade. I was working on color completing while also not straying too far so that I didn't miscount. But it's looking so cute. So this one, I am at 56.5% complete with the cross stitches. And then there's some beads, not too many, but some beads and some sequins. Okay. Next, we have Quaker Pumpkins by Hello from Liz Mathews. I love this so much. I just pulled this out for Stephanie at Cross Stitch the Globe's birthday. That's the hashtag Hello40 B-Day Sal. She wanted everyone to stitch on a Hello from Liz Mathews piece to celebrate her 40th birthday. So this was a whip, but it was a sad, sad start. I believe I had like 106 stitches or something. I had 118 stitches. If I have a before photo, I will pop that up. But here is where I am now. I had previously, let's wrangle this fabric here a little bit. So I previously had just like half this one little doodad here. So I put in almost half of a pumpkin. And I think there's 5 pumpkins. This is the center one. And I'm halfway through with one of the pumpkins. This needleminder is from the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. It was released with their Midnight Way pattern. This is stitched on 32 count sand dollar linen by BeStitchMe. And it's gonna take up a whole fat quarter. I mean, I think I'm gonna have some decent margins, but it wasn't worth cutting, so. I am stitching this, it's called for entirely in weeks, but I'm stitching with the Forbidden Fiber Co. conversion. And some of these colors, like, oh, there's one called Magnetic Mahogany, which is just absolutely stunning. I don't know if you can see that variegation there, but oh, it's so good. I think a couple of these colors have a little less variegation than the Weeks does, but overall, I'm really satisfied with the conversion. And these threads don't tangle as much as I feel like Weeks do, and they're fluffier. But yeah, this This gold color, that was the majority of what I was stitching with, is called Midas Touch, in case anyone is interested. It is a really pretty, like, harvesty gold color. So that one, I believe I put in about 640 stitches. Alrighty. Next, we have a July Whip Go goal. This is in a project bag that was stitched and sewed for me by Aya Rosen. Can you guess? It's going to have a Lord of the Rings project in it. This is Welcome to Rivendell. I'll pop up the cover photo. If I have it, I'll pop up a before photo. And then here is where I am now. So she also gave me this needleminder, which is the leaf of Lothlorien. I am stitching the top rocks and waterfall. This is stitched 2/1 tint. I had started it 1/1 full cross on 25 count lugana, the easy count lugana by Zweigart, but I ended up converting it to 2/1 tint because you can't tell the difference. So because my Whip Go goals are all 1,000 stitches, but this is half cross, I did 2,000 stitches. I think I ended up doing 2,050 because I can't count because I did it over 2 days. But yeah, this it just stitches up so fast because it's in block, like color blocks. It's so nice. I think I hit, let me see what my, come on, Ocean. So this one has 22,528 stitches. I have stitched 3,509, putting me at 15.6%. So yeah, I hit 15%. This project I worked on at Summer Stitch at Keepsakes. And it was fabulous for that because I outlined this giant chunk of, I think it's sky. I thought it was a rock, but I think it's actually sky. And so I just went all the way around it and then just filled it in. And so it was like 1,200 stitches of fill in. It was kind of boring, but it was really great for looking around at all the pretty things and what everyone else was stitching on and chatting because it took 0 brain power, so it was perfect. But I did start to put in some blues on the water instead of just sticking with the grays, and I had to have a little bit of interest. Okay, last one, and this one as far as whips. So this is also a new start though. I attended the Frogwarts Year 5 retreat hosted by the Black Needle Society. And like I said, this is Year 5, so it's focused on the Harry Potter Year 5 book. Each year they have a virtual retreat, and there's a pattern that comes with it. You get a box with all sorts of goodies themed around that specific year. And there's going to be, so this was Year 5, so there's going to be Year 6 and 7, and then those are also going to be virtual, and then there will be a Year 8 in person. So it's been really fun. I do want to preface this by saying that They don't have anything that's licensed. All of the items in the box are from small independent businesses. And then Katie Landis of the Black Needle Society designs the patterns. So this is year 5. Yes, there's a misprint. Here on the front it says year 4, the back says year 5, everywhere else says year 5, but this is what it's going to look like. So if you are a Harry Potter fan, you can recognize some of the like iconic motifs. This is number 12, Grimmauld Place. This is one of the Ministry Decrees. The Veil, Thestral. There's some extendable ears, several extendable ears. Yeah, I'll hold it a little closer. And I'm not going to show the other patterns, but they're all very similar to this style, but with motifs specific to that book. We won't get into it about J.K. Rowling, but I will just say it's very frustrating to have something that meant so much to me in my childhood and that I grew up with these characters and loved so much to just honestly now have it leave a bad taste in everybody's mouths and ruin it for the next generation. There's so many things that people my age now have kids and want to share something that they enjoyed with their kids, and now it's like, probably not this one. And it's frustrating and disappointing. But that aside, here's where I am with this pattern. I stitched on this during the retreat. The majority of the stitching challenges for this virtual retreat could be fulfilled, like the prompt could be fulfilled with this pattern. There were some that, I'd say maybe 2/3 could be filled with this pattern. And then the others, it gave you the opportunity to work on a few other things. But this is where I got to. This is stitched on 32 count Dirty Piggy. Absolutely perfect. It suits umbrage, but it's by BeStitchMe. It's linen, if I didn't say that. This project has almost 12,000 stitches, and I have stitched 2,342, putting me at 19.6%. There's a really dense band here at the bottom that's like solid full coverage in like 2 different colors of alternating diamonds. And that right there is probably 20% of the pattern. So I plan on leaving that for future retreats because that's great for stitching challenges, but I would love to, before next year, at least have the motifs themselves finished. And then if I need to use this pattern for a challenge, we'll just work on the band. So that way, not a lot of brain power. But if you've ever attended any of the Black Needle Society retreats before, I didn't personally attend the Gilmore Girls retreats, but I have heard that those are a lot more low-key, less pressure than the Frogwarts ones. People get really into to all of these challenges, but it's all in good fun. But it is very competitive. So I did do so much stitching. Like each of the stitching challenges, like I said, you're given a prompt. 5 minutes before the top of the hour, you're given a password, and you have to take a photo with whatever project you're going to work on with that password in the photo, showing that you didn't like pre-stitch a bunch. Then you have an hour to stitch, and then you have another 5 minutes to get your photo uploaded showing your progress and your stitch count for points. Then you're competing in a team to, you can win like singular as an MVP, one person wins most points for the entire thing, but you also are competing with your team to have a higher team score than all the other teams. So it is competitive, but it's a lot of fun, and all that competition means that you get a lot of progress in. So that is all of my whips and the new start. I have some plans, like a few things that I'll show you that I plan on working on soon. And then I have some really, really pretty fabric I want to show you. Let us start with some new plans. We're just going to say that a lot of those older plans that you've been seeing, they're still plans, but I don't know when we're going to get to them. My 2 whip go calls for July, I completed one with Welcome to Rivendell. The other was Satsuma Street, so anything by Satsuma Street. And I wanted to leave it broad just because most of the things, everything I have started by her currently are these kits, those ornament kits. So I didn't know for sure by the time it was called in WhipGo, like what I would have left or what I would feel like working on. So I just left it broad. But I still have at least 500 stitches that I'd like to put in, or a finish. If I could go ahead and finish Dear Santa, I would call that complete. Otherwise, just putting in another 500 stitches on one of, or several, of my other Satsuma Street ornaments would also satisfy that. So I would say I'm like half done with that goal. My stitch alongs, we are woefully behind. And of course, the designer of Satsuma Street also came out with a gorgeous stitch along. It's called the Monster House. It's a Halloween themed like haunted house, but it's in that Satsuma Street style of really bold colors and just really fun. The first release, I'll pop up a photo, but it has a like a skeleton ghoul waiter bringing you ghoulish cocktails. Oh, it's so good. I will probably purchase that. We're not even gonna pretend like I'm gonna start that anytime soon, but it is stunning. I'm probably gonna get it. The Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery Arctic Animals number 3, like release 3, came out. I'll pop up a photo of that. Gorgeous. Well, it's gorgeous because I'm super thrilled about like my fabric choice and I'm really excited for it, but haven't touched it. haven't started part 1. You know, we're 3 months in. It's fine. We're just gonna take it as it comes and stitch on something, and that'll be a win. So anyway, the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery is having what they're calling Summerween. It is when you pull out your Halloween Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery works in progress, or start things if you don't have any. You do you. The hashtag for that is TFPS for the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery Summerween. I am pulling out my Halloween wreath. So this is what it's going to look like. And here is where I am. So I do have a good bit of progress on this. Let me see. I am 45.9% done. This is stitched on 32 count Vintage Stormy Night. Lugana by Zweigart. And this needleminder is also from the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. I think it came out with this one, actually, with this pattern. So I've got, I think, 5 parts done. Like I said, that was right under 50%, 45% complete. I would love to get another part done before the end of Summerween. The next stitch along that I'd like to join in on is hashtag Quaker Ween. all the weens here. But that is to stitch on Halloween Quaker by Leela Studio. So I'm pulling out my whip. This is where I am at. This is stitched on 32 count Murky Lugana by Pictures Plus. This needleminder is from, I made it myself from a pin from Grave Markings. It says live deliciously. And I'll spread out the fabric a little more. I feel like Murky is one of those colors that sometimes it looks more green, sometimes it looks more brownish yellowish, depending on the dye. And also, of course, this is Lugana, so it's going to look different from the Aida or the linen, but I think it's perfect. I've just started with this one motif of actually getting some color in. Everything else is drab, dark colors, but they do look great on this. So let me see where I'm at so I can tell you some stats. Come on, Notion, why are you so slow? Okay, so this one's a pretty big project. It's got about 18,000 stitches. I have done 2,451 stitches, putting me at 13.6%. So I will put all of the information on those hashtags below. Including one that I'm so excited for. This one I will pop up a photo and we're going to have a surprise kitty appearance. Yep. So the stitch along for this is Stitch the Rainbow. I think it could be Stitch the Rainbow, so I'll have it down below. But it's to stitch on a rainbow project. This would have been perfect for June, but maybe not, since I am kind of changing up the colors. But essentially, I have been watching Tara of Wilda Woman Crafts work on her twisted rainbow sampler, and it's been stunning. It was really pretty and cool at the beginning, but then as she got down into the colors that are way more my vibe, I really wanted to dig out my pattern that I have by Northern Expression Needlework. And mine, I thought they were the same, but I pulled out the pattern and I actually have the twisted band sampler. So I'll put up a photo, but it's very similar. It's a diagonal band sampler in a rainbow. Well, one of the things that was holding me back from wanting to work on it is that I don't care about half the colors of the rainbow. Okay, kitty. Oh. You want picked up or not? Yep, you think I'm gonna kill you? Oh God. All right. Say hello to Kitty. You touch her and you think that you're gonna kill her. But anyway, don't mind me. So anyway, I was really worried about not liking it or not wanting to get through half of it because I didn't care about the like reds and yellows and oranges. I just don't care about those colors at all. And Tara was like, you could just change the colors. Oh, well, yeah, I guess I could. So I already had some BeStitchMe silks from various like boxes or whatever that I've gotten BeStitchMe silks from. And I knew I loved them, and I was like, okay, we're gonna do BeStitchMe silks conversion. And Brandy, don't step on my nicely tight projects and Q snaps. So I started on the BeStitchMe website and started looking through the silks to try to do my own conversion and use up as many of the colors that I really liked that I already had, and then just filling out the rest of the colors in new silks. Well, that started turning into a big nightmare because if you're unaware, Brandy at BeStitchMe has like 600 colors of silks, and it's just, you know, photos online are never perfect, and it was really important to me to have the tones all look right all together. So I emailed her and I asked her if she'd be able to help me come up with like a custom color conversion using pinks to purples to greens to blues type color situation. It took a while because she had a lot going on, but I was in no hurry anyway, and I certainly told her that. But back and forth via email, you know, she gave me some different options. I told her which colors I already had, so she was able to pull those and show me photos of how they look together with the new ones that she pulled. And she helped me come up with this glorious silk conversion for Twisted Van Sampler. I am absolutely thrilled. I think this one right here, and it's not all nice and pretty because I've already used it a little bit, but oh, they're so good. So good. Yes. So yeah, I'm gonna do this on just plain black linen. I'm doing one strand over 2 linen threads on 32 count. Tara's is 28 count. I think that's what it's called for to do, but I just am gonna have mine a little smaller and do 32 count. But I'm really excited for the specialty stitches. I'm so excited for those colors. Sorry about the kitty distraction, but she is cute. So yeah, I think that's about it for plans. I have some pretty fabrics I want to show you. That's all I've really got in haul. I have my Fiberlicious Fabric of the Month for, what is this, July? For July. This is 18 count Ada, and the color is Ocean Mist. So it is a super bright teal, or like an aqua seafoam color. Oh, stunning. Can't wait to find a use for that. That's like a very summery color, but I could also even see it as winter. I don't know, like I really enjoy like doing Christmas projects on this color. It just gives me like those vintage Christmas vibes. I don't know, like I would totally use that for Christmas as well. I placed an order with BeStitchMe back towards the end of April for my Dirty Piggy linen for the Frogwarts pattern, and it took a while. I asked her about it because I was starting to get a little antsy because we were getting really close to the retreat, and I was like, am I gonna have my linen, or should I find an alternative here? Because, I mean, Dirty Piggy is fabulous, so I wasn't concerned about, you know, having to find something else. I would just do a different pink fabric. But there was one of the other two that I got with my order that was the holdup. She hadn't dyed yet. But I ended up getting it. It was fine. But the other two that I had added on since I was ordering the Dirty Piggy was Gray Magic. This was actually the color, like the fabric of the month 2 months ago, last month, I don't quite remember, but I got the fabric of the month on linen, but this is 20 count Ada. And it is just a fabulous, like a bluey tone gray. And that's like one of my favorite colors to stitch on because I feel like you can brighten it up with bright colors for, you know, some sorts of patterns, and then you can also stitch Halloween on it. It's very versatile color. And then I also got 20 count Ada Dirty Chalkboard. So this is a really deep charcoal color, and I have recently discovered, when I did my Witchy Stitcher Nostalgic Tarot, I got 20 count Black Ada for that, and I loved it. I'm never ever going to bother stitching on 40 count because 20 count Ada is so much easier to see, but you've got the same size, like tiny cute little X's. So 20 count Ada all the way, so I wanted to pick up some more of that. And this Dirty Chalkboard color is perfect for a lot of those like spooky things I like to stitch and who knows what, but super excited to add those. And then the good stuff. So Erin and Amity, and I've seen banana oil fabric mentioned before, but really the ones who convinced me to give it a try were Erin and Amity of the Hathaway Stitchers, because they had brought some to StitchCon and I got to see it and like feel it in person. I don't know, like everyone has shown, the people that I've seen with banana oil have always like shown these super vibrant colors on like Ada and Lugana, which is usually harder to get than it is on the linen. And so for some reason I like had in my head that it has to be like really stiff. Like the only way that they could possibly get this like super vibrant color on Lugana or something is to maybe not like rinse out all the dye, and it's got to be like hard. Like, I don't know, that's just what my brain thought. There's zero logic behind that, zero, I don't know. That's just where my head went. And so I was like, I I don't know. I don't know if it'd be that much fun to stitch on. It looks great, but I don't know about it. But they had it there, and it's not hard. I don't know how that they get such vibrant colors, but it's not hard. It's not stiff whatsoever, so I'm just gonna call it black magic, and it's amazing. And yeah, so I immediately placed an order. The both of the ones that I got 2 pieces. One is 16 count and one is 20 count Aida. Again, I've just been really on an Aida kick. I get so much linen that it's just, I don't know, it's nice. I like hand-dyed Aida. So it's a very small shop, so you have to sort of get on there on Etsy not too long after she posts things, or they're going to be sold out. Every piece, I believe, is one of a kind. She does assign them like a little name, but it's not an official name because I don't think they're not really recipes or anything like that to be recreated. But the options for Lugana were a little slim when I was looking, and just the color options that I liked the best were Aida. And I'm blown away, even though I'd already seen some in person. I'm still blown away. But this is the first one. This is 16 count Aida. Again, it doesn't really have a name, but I think the one that she had just put on the Etsy store was Dark Romance, but I don't think that's an official name or anything like that. But just look at, oh, it's so cool. These modeled effects. And like I said, I mean, it is Aida, and I think it's still a little stiff. BeStitchMe's is a little floppy. I mean, I like that. This is a little thicker and less floppy than that, but it's not crunchy at all. This still looks so cool. I think this would be really cool with a monochromatic white piece, white design. But who knows? That's just gonna, oh, this is so cool. And then the second piece. This one is 20 count Aida. Look at that. Just look at that. It's like tie-dye. Oh, it's just, I don't know. I don't know how on earth they managed to get these amazing designs in the dye. Again, I'm really thinking this would be cool with a light colored solid, so that the magic of the funky fabric shines through. It's just so good. That's not going to be my last order from Banana World, but that is my first. I also think that it is so sweet that there was a handwritten note in my order. It was so sweet, and there were also some stickers in there. And I mean, I don't expect those things from a small business, but it does always feel good to receive those. So it's just a really nice, sweet touch. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to order again. Every time I see an update, I'm not on it. If you follow on Etsy, well, on Etsy, but also on Instagram, you can see when new ones are posted. I'm just not fast enough. I don't keep a close enough eye on it, but when I do go on there and check, I'm just gonna keep my eyes open if there are any that just call to me. This one was the reason why I ordered. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm already ordering, so let's pick out something else too. But yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna put on that, but I need to find something soon because it's just stunning. And my beautiful silks. Oh, there's so many beautiful things to stitch and not enough time. Okay, let's talk about knitting. And then I have one cozy video game that I'd like to mention. And then I'll let you go. We're not going to talk about books today. I've got a couple, but we'll just wait and talk about that next time when I might have a few more to go over. So for knitting, if you have watched previous videos, I was working on a shawl, and that was my travel on the plane project. Most of my trips, like flights, are pretty short. I mean, we're talking, you can have your tray tables down for 45 minutes. Other than that, you're either like ascending or descending, so you can't have those down. And it's just, knitting's just easier for me to not have to get my stuff out for a little bit and then put it all away and whatnot. So I'd been working on a shawl, and then the shawl started getting too big and it started being a little unwieldy to be flopping around and turning around, like going back and forth when you're cramped up next to some stranger on a plane. So I decided to go for it and start a sock. So this is my first ever sock. I am following the Crazy Sock Lady vanilla sock for 9-inch circulars. I've never used DPNs, so that was a little intimidating. And I think I had previously tried a sock, but I'd never knit anything like this tiny before. And that I started doing the magic loop, and that was when I was like, okay, no, we're gonna put this sock aside because I don't know, like I was complaining to Tara about it, and she was like, why am I knitting with chopsticks? I was like, yeah, that's pretty much what I felt like. So it's still fiddly, but it's at least I don't know, my hands are a little bit more used to it now, so it wasn't as terrifying. But yeah, so these are top-down construction. Again, Crazy Sock Lady vanilla sock for 9-inch circulars. And the yarn that I'm using is from Michaels. It's Loops and Threads brand, I think. But it's called Perfect Pair. And I don't know, does it have a color? Color's River. Color River. So this is a super fine yarn, and I mean it is tiny. So when I first started a sock on this, it was just so intimidating. But now it's a little fiddly, but I guess it was all confidence and muscle memory of your hands. So I think knitting the shawl it did what it was supposed to do, and I got better. But this is the cuff, and then I started on the actual main part, like the leg. I think that's what it's called, the leg of the sock. And now it's just literally knitting in the round for quite some time, so it's kind of perfect for planes. That's it. That's my knitting. Really riveting. But for me, actually, it was a huge accomplishment because I was so scared, and I was like, I can't be a sock knitter. It's so tiny, and but I finished it. I'm proud of myself. Okay, video game, and then I'll let you go, and I'll be quick on this, but I think probably quite a few people like cozy games. Most of the video games I would say that I play are actually probably not in that genre, but now that I've just like completely fallen off the deep end into cross stitch, cozy games have been really nice to pick up, play, and get super invested in for a little while, but they're not going to be like 1,000-hour time sinks because I ain't got time for that. So anyway, this one is called Dredge. You are a fisherman who wakes up with zero memories on this tiny little island in this area that's just full of a bunch of islands. And the mayor hires you to be the fisherman for this village, and you're like, sure, why not? What else am I gonna do? So you go out on your ship and you start catching fish to pay off your debt for the boat, and then also to, you know, fulfill your duties of feeding the island with the fish you catch. And then shenanigans. you start catching these weird creatures that are like distorted, corrupted versions of the normal fish that you catch. You get all of these strange warnings from the people that you encounter about how you should not go out at night. And if you do, you actually have like what's essentially like a panic meter for weird things happen in the night, and you get scared, and the more you get scared, the more weird things happen because you don't know if it's real or not, but like rocks come out of nowhere and you can crash your boat and stuff like that. And there's a few creatures that are only out at night. So anyway, you progress through this story. You go to different areas. Each one has like a different, smaller story, and you have to collect these like tokens from the sea to be able to complete the story and figure out what's going on. Throughout doing that, you are upgrading your boat to catch fish easier, to catch different types of fish. You can get like crab pots and have like a passive source of catching fish. And then, like I said, you're trying to figure out, like, go through the story and complete some of these quests to figure out what the heck is up. I'm telling you, I think it took about 7-8 hours of gameplay. I completed a lot of the like trophies, but I did not catch every single fish or anything like that. You could probably do I don't know, maybe 10-12 hours of gameplay if you wanted to do more of that. And I was also pretty slow and like taking it easy, exploring. Especially in the beginning, before I upgraded my boat to get better lights, I didn't stay out at night. You could have blown through this faster if you really wanted to, but I wanted low stakes. The creepy things in the dark can be, I mean, this is not a horror game by any means. This is just, it does get a little creepy at certain points. And there is a setting where you can completely make it pressure-free by, I think it's called like passive mode. So any of those creepy things you can see them and they'll still like raise your panic meter if you're too close, but they're not gonna attack you. They're not gonna bother your boat. That's what I did. After the first one, I was like, nope, I ain't got time for this. Turned that passive mode on, nothing else attacked me. It was great. So, you know, I'm 100% one of those people who will put some of those like big name video games, like, we'll just throw one out there, Horizon Zero Dawn. I loved Horizon Zero Dawn because of the story. At first, you know, I played it on normal difficulty, but once I started getting frustrated, like trying to beat some bosses, it's like, nope, we're putting that right on story mode. I'm not gonna die. I'm gonna do everything and get to enjoy the parts of the game that I like, which is the story and the exploration and that sort of thing, and not the trying to figure out how to kill the things. Like, I don't have the time or the frustration level to, yes, kitty, to go through over and over again and figure out how I need to, like, what I need to do to beat a boss. Like, that's not what I'm into. So, games with story mode, that's great. That's what I'm doing. Okay, I think that's all I got. The cat's wanting dinner. It's a little later than I normally film, so yeah, she is raring for dinner. Yeah. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, I really appreciate it. For everyone, you know, this is your first time, I hope that you liked what I showed and stick around for next time to see if and when I'll finally complete some of these plans and goals that I have. And if you're coming back, just thank you. Thank you so much. It makes my day every single comment that I get and every single time like I see a new subscriber. Just thank you. So anyway, Kitty's gonna say bye too. Well, actually, she just wants to be a parrot. But yeah, I'll catch you next time. Bye.